My name's Lyndsey Barrett. I'm a senior occupational therapist and the director and founder of a social enterprise called Support for Confidence. I've been qualified for 19 years. I started off in the NHS, which I absolutely loved. Started in learning disability services, which has always been my passion. And then I kind of stayed on a rotation, progressed through, became a senior OT, and then decided on a massive career change about 3 years ago and set up my own social enterprise. For me, when I was working in learning disability services, everything tended to be separate. So if somebody had a learning disability and they wanted to access a service, it was learning disability specific, particularly in sport. And I wanted to work with people with learning disabilities outside of specific sessions just for, say, a diagnosis of one group of people. So it frustrated me that people couldn't attend mainstream sessions in a sports centre if they had a diagnosis of learning disability or any other disability. You were signposted to a specific session, and that didn't make sense. I decided to try and set up a session called Support for Confidence where anybody could come along, but it originated in the NHS as an occupational therapy group. People came to see me, the group grew, it was very popular, and there were multiple benefits. I could see the leisure centres benefiting, I could see the participants benefiting, which was the most important thing for me. But it was a closed group. I couldn't open it up to the public. I couldn't open it up to people who weren't in the NHS service because you have to be referred. And so I just needed to take it bigger than that and to say, well, if this belongs outside of the NHS, I can still be the occupational therapist, but I can work with more people and I can provide a different opportunity. Now on a Tuesday, which is one of my busiest days at work, I see over 70 people with a learning disability in one leisure centre. Previously, before on a Tuesday, I might see 2 people. I see 70 people and I'm exhausted, but I'm inspired, and I come away on a Tuesday and I come home and say, that's 1,000,000% why I trained to be an occupational therapist. It was a real challenge leaving the NHS, and I think the reason it was a challenge for me is I knew what skills I had, but I knew there was also a lot of things lacking for me. So I'm not great at management stuff. I'm not great at administration. I know nothing about accounting. I'm not a businesswoman at all. I'm not business minded. So I knew that I'm a good occupational therapist. I knew that I could work in a leisure centre. I had this ambition to be the first ever occupational therapist in the country to be in a leisure centre. I knew that was in me to do that. So I had all of that. But I wasn't quite sure on all the other bits and pieces. How was I going to sit in front of Sport England, or how was I going to sit in front of a director of a company and almost sell occupational therapy to them? So my advice would be to find out who's got those skills that you don't have. I think once you've identified that you can make a difference or you want to do something differently, it's about resilience and being quite persistent and driven and focused on what it is you want to achieve. I can't tell you how many times I got told that it wouldn't work, it wouldn't happen. But I think if you believe in yourself and you've got that resilience and you keep going, and eventually people will start listening, and along the way you're changing people's attitudes as you go. I've been awarded a Merit Award from the Royal College, and I received an award for innovation. But when I speak to my family about it, the highlights are when a gentleman used the bus for the first time to come to my session. When one of the chaps I work with ordered a cup of tea in the cafe for the first time, he's 45. One of the ladies got into a swimming pool for the first time that we'd practiced for like 10 months. The career highlights are in those moments when somebody says, I didn't want to live anymore and now I do. And then that makes everything worthwhile, absolutely everything. The mountain that I've climbed for the last 3 years, setting up a social enterprise, is worth it, all in that one moment.